You're really good. Look at that. This is all you. Oh, good. Excellent. This is not girl shooting.
Who doesn't love a little bit of encouragement? Welcome to the Gun Show. It's the Independence, and we are talking about guns. That was a clip from recent TV. Washington Times senior editor Emily Miller took me to a gun range to show me the ins and outs of her Sig Sauer, which is a gun, not her husband. Emily Miller is the senior editor of the Washington Times. She's the author of Emily Gets Her Gun, a book that further explores a series she wrote for the Times about the hassle of getting her own handgun in Washington, D.C. Emily, welcome back to the Independence.
Thanks, Kennedy.
So that was a fun and informative day. I think I liked it so much because Nick Gillespie was really scared, and you still made him shoot your 9mm.
I know, he wasn't, like, see, we were the guys in that situation.
I know, right? And you were so informative because you went through this trying process of getting your gun in a place like D.C., which, you know, regardless of any Supreme Court decision, still has very draconian gun laws. What was the process like for you, finally getting that SIG?
Yeah, but D.C. has the strictest gun laws in the country, and they established them all after the Heller decision in 2008, which said the 30-year gun ban was illegal. So they basically make it impossible for people to get guns legally. And so it took me 4 months to get a gun, just register a gun to have in my home, and it cost $435 in fees to go through the 17 steps they established. So the city council, after my series, passed a couple laws to make it slightly easier, but it's still 11 steps to getting a gun in D.C. And I'm pointing out, just across the bridge in Virginia, you just walk into a gun store, you do the federal background check to make sure you're law-abiding, you do a state background check, and you walk out the gun 10 minutes later, and they have much, much lower crime in Virginia than they do in D.C.
And that's an interesting fact. Another interesting thing that you bring up in your book is there's so many misconceptions about guns. And, you know, you bring to light a lot of the terms that are misused by politicians, by people in the media, you know, things like the term assault weapons. I mean, what are assault weapons? What does this mean, and why do people want to ban them?
Well, originally, the anti-gun groups decided, and this is a memo, and I have it in my books, people can read it, it's on the web. They said that, they wrote that, we'll use the term assault weapon because it'll deliberately confuse people into thinking that those guns are fully automatic and that they're the guns of war. Now, fully automatic guns are used in war. They're not domestic. Since 1986, they've been banned for import or manufactured for civilians. But if you have a big black rifle, people get confused. Now, just to be clear, out of the 9,000 homicides by gun every year in America, about 300 are by rifle of any kind. So even if they're black or whatever color they are, whatever features they have, it's a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage. But it's a way to chip away at gun rights because the average person hears it's an assault weapon, but really it's just a rifle that has certain ergonomic features, whether it's a collapsing stock or a pistol grip to hold the gun up. It actually has a lower caliber than most hunting rifles. I mean, you wouldn't bring down a deer with sort of an AR-15 style rifle, but the average person who isn't familiar with firearms would find them to look scary and then get on board in banning them, just purely based on their looks.
Emily, can you talk a little bit about what motivated you to get a gun in the first place, and if you've met some other people who had similar motivations and similar experiences trying to go through all that bureaucracy?
Yeah, I think my story parallels a trend we're seeing in America. What happened to me about 2 years ago, I decided to get this gun, and as Kennedy knows, I never shot a gun before 2 years ago. So it wasn't like I've been a gun person all along. And what happened was I was a victim of a home invasion. I walked into a house with a guy robbing it, and he had a bunch of buddies down at the end of the driveway. And it scared the daylights out of me. I wasn't physically harmed, thank God, but I thought, if this ever happens and I'm in bed, or how will I defend myself when I'm going to get a gun? And then I went through this process in D.C. and realized how hard it is. And at the same time, President Obama and Mike Bloomberg and all these anti-gun people are pushing these laws that are passed in 8 states last year that make it more difficult for law-abiding people like me to have a gun to defend myself. And what we're seeing, though, is a huge, huge increase in the number of gun owners in America. And it's not just these people who are doing it for political reasons against Obama, but we're seeing that 1/4 of all gun buyers now, this is according to the manufacturers and the retailers, 1/4 of all gun buyers are first-time buyers, so people like me, and half of them are women. So we've seen an increase in women gun owners as opposed to just using their husbands or their boyfriends or their father's gun. They're buying their own guns for self-defense, and also younger and more urban, purely because our cities are dangerous.
All right, Emily Miller, thank you so much. Thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
All right, very
Thank
good.
you.
It's a good book. It's a good read. She's a great writer, and you should read all about it.